Hey, and welcome to Board with Life News for November 9th. Today I'm going to talk about Keeper, an expansion for Tyrants of the Underdark, Castles of Caladale, and the Kickstarter for Dialect. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to Board with Life News. I don't think I'm going to be doing news next week because I'm going to be at BGGCon, but instead, I hope to be able to do a daily vlog from BGGCon, where each day of the con I'm going to kind of upload a short video detailing what I played and things that I did so that you can get a feel for what that con is like if you've never been. So hopefully that happens. It's a lot of work, and BGGCon's always very busy for me, but fingers crossed that I can get that done. Richard Brees has talked a little bit about a new game that he's making called Keeper that's going to be coming out at Essen 2017, but I think it's going to be on Kickstarter in about a month for the American audience. And this is, I don't know, the 5th or 6th or 7th game in his Key series with Keyflower and most recently Key to the City London. This is going to be a worker placement game. One of the most interesting aspects of it is it's got this central board that changes with the seasons, and like the board can like fold over, and it's kind of like a weird puzzle thing that looks really creative and innovative as far as board game stuff goes. It might just be a gimmick, but it's pretty cool. I still haven't gotten a chance to play Key to the City London that came out at Essen. That's one of the games I really hope to be able to play this year at BGGCon, so hopefully I get to do that. Tyrants of the Underdark, the area-controlled deck-building game that came out from Gale Force 9 this year, has announced an expansion called Aberrations and Undead. This is going to come with two 40-card decks that are like half decks, they say, that are going to allow players to take on roles of different characters in the Underdark, stuff like the Illithid and Beholders, famous stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting if you're into that game. And it's only $12, and it's going to come out in December, so that's right around the corner. So definitely hop on that if you're a fan of Tyrants of the Underdark. Renegade Game Studios has announced Castles of Caladale that'll be coming out next year. It's a game for 1 to 4 players. It's a tile-laying game, plays in about 30 minutes. In it, you're each building your own castle, and it's not like a top-down view like Carcassonne and most tile-laying games are. It's just like you're straight up building up the walls of your castle and stuff, so that's pretty cool. It's a little bit different than most tile-laying games. It is $30, and it's going to come out February of 2017. This week's Kickstarter is for Dialect. Dialect is an RPG about the loss of language. It's a very interesting indie RPG. It doesn't have a GM, and it's for 3 to 5 players, and in it, you're collectively going to build up the language of a society, and you're going to use that language to explore your characters, to explore the world you live in, and then you're collectively going to come up with the story of how that language died. So it's a very interesting, like, artsy RPG that's exploring stuff that games often don't do. I'm obviously excited about that stuff. I think I've done indie RPGs for the last like 3 or 4 weeks on Kickstarter Corner, so I apologize if you're not into them. But I'm always interested at games as a form of art and exploration and understanding of the world around us, so I'm pretty excited about this one. If you want the book, it's $29 right now on Kickstarter. All right, that's the news for this week. Thanks so much for tuning in. This was a little bit of a short episode. There wasn't a whole lot of news that came out, so I decided to just keep it brief instead of throwing in a bunch of fluff. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as I said, I'm going to hopefully be doing vlogs next week at BGGCon, so you can get a feel for what that experience is like. Also, I would love if you could support me on Patreon, because that's the reason I'm able to do the things I'm doing. I got some new equipment to shoot BGGCon with that I'm pretty excited about, partially thanks in part to the generous donations that I get on Patreon. So definitely go check that out if you're into that kind of stuff. This week's question comes from @BossBoardGames, and they ask, with great games constantly coming out, how do you handle trimming the collection versus not buying more games? It's always a challenge. I want to play everything, but obviously that's not possible. This year I actually was way better at not buying games. I played a lot of other people's games. I go to board game groups that have libraries and things like that, and I play those games, so I really only buy games I really love and want to share with other people. I still bought a decent amount, and I've actually got a pretty long list to buy at BGGCon, and I've got a pre-order list that's going right now, just because there was a lot of stuff I was very interested in Essen this year. So the end of the year is going to be a little bit tough for buying games. I don't cull my collection that often, but I am culling it currently with, there is a flea market, a virtual flea market at BGGCon where you can put your games up on Board Game Geek, and people can say like, I'll buy that for $10, and then you all meet up in one giant, frantic, insane hour and a half and exchange games and stuff. So I've got about 20 or 30 games up on there. I probably have another 20 or 30 that I could stand to part with, but I kind of keep it all to this shelf space. So once I outgrow what fits on my shelves, I move stuff through so that I can put other stuff on the shelves. So that's my main way, is I just keep a physical limitation on the space that I allow myself to have games. And honestly, I have about 200 games. And that's more than I need, because a lot of these games go years without getting played. So yeah, I don't get super sentimental about them, and I don't have a huge difficulty culling the collection when I do need to cull it. So yeah, but it's definitely hard to not buy all the fun new games. I've just gotten a lot better at only buying the ones I really love and just playing the ones that I just like. So great question. Thanks for asking it. Thanks for tuning in, and I guess I'll see you with the vlogs next week, assuming I can get that done. Fingers crossed. It's going to be a ton of work, but I'm going to try to do it. So yeah, thanks for tuning in.